What's going on YouTube? So if you've been around this channel for a while, you know that the Hyundai Elantra has a special place in our hearts.
For 2024, Hyundai is refreshing this compact sedan, positioning it even better than before.
So, is this the new competitor that's going to beat the Civic or Corolla? Let's go ahead and find out. Now Hyundai's made a lot of changes to this 2024 Elantra, but one place they didn't make any changes is what's under the hood. So most Elantras are going to continue with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's making 147 horsepower, 132 pound-feet of torque. Now you do also have a 1.6-liter turbocharged engine with 201 horsepower in the inline trim level. And there's also a hybrid and in-performance variants. Those continue on for 2024, but those are very different, so we're going to be covering those separately.
Now, as far as your transmissions are concerned, you're going to have a CVT for most models, and front-wheel drive is going to be the only option. Fuel economy is going to be a very impressive 34 miles a gallon combined.
Now, of course, later on in this review, we will go for a test drive. We will do things like get our signature sound level reading so that we can compare to other rivals on CarConfections.com. But first, let's go ahead and get this hood closed so we can take a look at what they've done to the exterior design. Now, some brands do refreshes and you wonder what changed. Well, that's not going to be the case with this Elantra. They did a lot of work up here in the front to get it up to date with all their latest design language themes, as well as to kind of match it with that upcoming 2024 Hyundai Sonata. Now, what you'll see in the front is a revised grille. This is going to kind of extend all the way out through here. We don't have the light bar, but we do have a piece of chrome that kind of makes it look like you have a light bar running through there. And then your lower fascia here is also going to be more aggressive. So you'll notice you have that gloss black that's going to extend all through here. And this updated housing, which kind of gives it a little bit more of an aggressive stance. Now, your badge is also going to be redesigned slightly. It's a little bit flatter. It has that satin finish. But what I really want to talk about is your LED lighting. So previously, a lot of the trims actually had halogen lights, but Hyundai listened to customer complaints because they have made standard LED projector headlights on all trim levels. That is very, very premium for this segment of vehicle. As you can see, they've got a really good look to them as well. You've got the crystal design, and then you've got your daytime running light and turn signal indicator across the top. Now, as we move around to the rear, the overall shape is going to continue for 2024. So you've got that kind of aggressive slope into the very angular rear end design.
And let's see if they've changed the taillights for 2024. Now, overall shape looks very similar to the 2023 model. So let's see if all the elements are LED. So we do have an incandescent brake light, incandescent reverse light, and incandescent turn signal indicator. So none of the elements are LED for this taillight unit. You can get some more elements as LED as you go up the trim structure. So like a limited or inline model will get you a little bit more LED componentry. We have nice Elantra branding across the back. And then this lower fascia has been slightly redesigned for 2024 for this refresh. You have a nice little piece that kind of adds an accent. No exposed exhaust outlets until you get the inline or in model though.
Now, no refresh would be complete without updated wheel options, so we do have a new selection of them ranging from 15 inches on the low end to 18 inches on the high end. We have the 17-inch contrast alloys on this SEL with convenience package. I think this is a very premium looking wheel, considering this is a mid-trim level. You got a lot of contrast going on through there. Now, as we move up here to our mirrors, they are body colored on the top. Blind spot monitoring will be standard on all trim levels, and heating will come on the SEL Convenience and above.
Now, as far as side design changes, there aren't a ton of them. You still have a lot of angles going on as far as the body panels are concerned. This does have a new texture for 2024. And as far as your overall vehicle length, it's still coming in at about 185 inches long. Now let's go ahead and talk about your safety systems, because that's of course a main selling point for anything in this segment. Hyundai's including 3 out of your 4 active safety features as standard equipment. Additionally, if you choose the limited trim level, you're going to get all of the goodies. You're going to have adaptive cruise control with their highway driving assist function. Now, additionally for 2024, Hyundai is also adding a few more safety bits, including rear seat airbags, as well as a rear seat seatbelt reminder. But guys, that's it for the outside. Now let's check out the refreshed interior. But before,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now let's move on to the interior. But first, we'll of course take a quick look at the key fob. You'll probably notice this is not the key fob we had before. This is Hyundai's brand new key fob. The buttons actually are arranged in a way that kind of make the H of their emblem. It's kind of a cool effect. It's shaped like a little bit of a smooth pebble overall. And you do have smart entry on SEL and above, as well as remote start. Now, Hyundai's digital key system has been upgraded to version 2.0 for 2024, and that's going to be available on your limited and inline trims. And getting inside here, just press the button that will unlock the door. Now, checking out the interior, the changes are going to be a little less obvious in terms of design versus the exterior, but once I actually get inside, you're going to see that quite a bit has changed. Now, starting off with our seats, we have cloth seats on this SEL trim level. These are also going to be cloth on the SE trim level, and your inline will be leatherette trimmed. Now, if you want a leather seat, you can choose the limited trim, and that's going to get you the full H-Tex leatherette. As far as this one though, this cloth is pretty soft. I like the little design details they have in here. And the seat itself is going to be manual adjusting until you get to the inline or the limited trim. But let's go ahead and climb inside. But now that we're inside, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the cabin materials. Now this is the SEL trim level, so this is a more affordable model, but even still, Hyundai has upgraded the door trim for 2024 to have the nice soft touch material here. We also have the leatherette through the center section with the triple stitching detail, and the top will be hard touch. Now up in the upper dash, this is soft touch plastic. This is going to be hard, but has a nice texture to it. And as we move down to the console area, you'll notice a piano black is going to be finished across most of it to give it a little bit more of an upscale look. But let's go ahead and start it up with the push button start. I went ahead and moved into a first-person perspective as always, so we can take a closer look at the details. First up, we have our gauge cluster. So two changes with this gauge cluster for 2024. First of all, the standard 4.2-inch multi-function display has been redesigned. That is the standard gauge setup. However, more of the trim levels for 2024 are going to get this 10.25 full digital gauge cluster. Actually, the SEL trim level and above will now get this, so it's very nice. This has all the same tricks as always, so when you change drive modes, it is going to change designs. And if you're wondering what this is over here on the side, this does remain for 2024. It continues just to be a little bit of a design element. Now, as we pull back to the steering wheel, because we have the convenience package on this model, we do have the nice leather wrap steering wheel. We have the updated Hyundai logo right there in the center. And as far as the wheel itself, it is going to be manual tilt and telescoping. But let's get into interior storage. So turning over here to our console, we'll open it up. Of course, we do a thing called the donut test here at Car Confections, and we see how many of these donuts it fits inside. The answer is going to be 7. So as you can see, it's a little bit of an interesting shape here, but it's pretty big overall for this class of vehicle. Speaking of big though, these cup holders are giant. Look how deep they are. This is definitely going to hold even some really large beverages you might throw at it. The handlebar is going to remain for 2024. And then up here in the front, we do have a redesigned wireless phone charging pad this year. I'm assuming it's for better connectivity. And then you've got a little bit of storage over here to the right of that. We have a new USB-C port. And as we come back to the shifter, this does remain a traditional style shifter versus the push button style you get in the Sonata. Pull back for drive, bump over here to the left if you want to go through some simulated gear changes. On this trim level, at least, there are not going to be paddle shifters on the steering wheel. As we head into reverse, you'll be greeted with this standard backup camera. As you can see, we do have active trajectory on board. If you choose the limited model, and this is new for 2024, you do have the surround view and blind view monitor system. So that's both a 360 camera as well as the signaling system, where you can see your blind spot when you go to the right or to the left. And then back behind that, we do have an electronic parking brake. Most models will have this. It's included with our convenience package on this model. Now moving beyond that, we come to our panel of climate controls. We are going to have a standard dual zone automatic climate setup on all but the very base trim level, so that's pretty nice. As you can see, very simple to use because we have physical controls for all the functions. We also have physical controls for our 3-stage heated seats. These are going to be included standard on limited and inline trim levels, or with the convenience package on the SEL trim level. I do also want to mention in this area, if you choose that top end limited trim, it's going to come with a ambient lighting setup that's going to go across the vents, just to give the cabin a little bit of a classier look. Now above that, we have our volume knobs for the audio system. New for 2024, the base sound system is going to gain 2 speakers. So it's going to be 6 speakers now, and if you choose the inline or above, that's going to get you the 8-speaker Bose premium sound system. So let's go ahead and give this standard system a sample. Overall, sound quality is not bad at all. I think it certainly sounds a little bit better than it did last year, since this is the sound system that most people will end up with. Okay, so let's move above and talk about the display situation as well. So you're going to have 2 different displays on board. Standard is an 8-inch display, and then on the SEL and above, which is the vast majority of trim levels, that's going to come with this 10.25-inch display. What's special about this display is not only is it bigger, but it does have kind of the latest Hyundai software on board. You also have a built-in navigation system, which you can see right here. And both screens, regardless, will have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. However, I do want to point out, with this larger display, it is going to be a wired connection, so you still do have to connect via a USB. If you have the small 8-inch display, that's going to be a wireless connection. Looking up top here, the limited trim level would come with an auto-dimming mirror and HomeLink remotes. Then I'll go ahead and open up our power sunroof. As you can see, pretty nice large piece of glass. We do have a wind buffer on board. This is going to be standard on the inline as well as the limited, but we do have it added in the convenience package on this SEL.
Now, one of the really good selling points about the Elantra is this rear seat area, because we have a lot of space. 38 inches of legroom, a little over 37 inches of headroom, which does actually place this as more spacious than the Toyota Corolla, about the same as the Honda Civic, and it's even bigger on paper than the Hyundai Sonata. It's a bigger brother. So that's just like a really cool thing about the Elantra, is there's a ton of space. I'm 5'9" for reference if you're new to the channel, and this seat is adjusted to Drew, who's 5'8", and I did bring my ruler here, and I have about 7 inches of knee space, and my feet can easily slide up underneath the seat. I will also point out these rear seats seem pretty comfortable. Now let's go ahead and talk about the features you're going to get on the Elantra. No vents on any Elantra model, and then if we drop down below that, we're going to find a change for the refresh. We do have 2 new USB-C ports down here. And then if you choose the SEL Convenience model or above, you will get this rear armrest with cup holders inside. As far as the door trim is concerned, I do believe this is slightly improved for this year. So we do have a hard touch material on the top, but this whole center section is going to have a little bit of padding to it, which I do appreciate. And then down at the very bottom, we do have some bottle storage. Now walking up to the cargo area in the Elantra, as you can see, by all that beeping, we do have the smart opening trunk, which is a nice feature you get included if you have the smart entry system. And as far as the amount of space back here, this is also going to be an impressive area. 14.2 cubic feet of maximum cargo capacity in this Elantra. That is bigger than the Toyota Corolla. It's slightly smaller than the Honda Civic, but that's still a very good amount of space for this segment of vehicle. The seats do fold 60-40 split folding. Of course, I do have my measuring tape here, so I just measure from the back of the seat to the rear of the cargo area for your reference. We're looking at 42 inches of length, and as far as the cargo opening, we're sitting at about 38 inches wide. We like to provide all those measures for you in case you're looking to like load something into the cargo area. You don't have to go to the dealership and measure. We've already done it for you. Now, as far as features back here, we do have a spare tire underneath of the floor as well, which is a nice feature to have. Well guys, here we are behind the wheel of the 2024 refreshed Elantra. In this test drive, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting our signature sound level reading. But first, let's go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
Alright, so there we are, accelerating for the first time with this 2024 Hyundai Elantra. Now when it comes to this model, like we mentioned at the spec dump, no powertrain adjustments, so most of the models are going to come with the powertrain we're sampling today. That is just a traditional 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, 147 horsepower, 132 pound-feet of torque.
It's fine acceleration.
Yeah. This is competitive for this segment, but this segment is not about power, of course. That's really not what's going to impress you about this. And Hyundai gives you ample availability of other powertrain options if you want to enhance your power, for example, or if you want to enhance your fuel economy with the hybrid version.
Yeah, so the inline model, that's a 1.6 liter turbo 4-cylinder. That's going to be making 201 horsepower. Of course, they do also have the full in-performance model, which is very different than what you're going to get here, and we will be covering that in a separate review, but that's, of course, a lot more powerful. And then, like Drew said, you have the hybrid offering if what you're looking for is maximum efficiency. So I really love that Hyundai is giving you all those different powertrain choices, because really that's pretty rare in this segment of vehicle.
As far as the transmission is concerned, this version with the 2-liter does come with a continuously variable transmission. This is a fine partner for this engine overall. It's nice and responsive. I also like that Hyundai includes a shift simulation. You don't have to be going full throttle to activate it either, so you kind of get that more traditional feel even though you do have the CVT.
Now, it is worth noting, if you really don't like CVTs, of course, you can get different transmissions if you choose the inline or the N models. Regardless, though, it will be front-wheel drive exclusive. They are not offering all-wheel drive on this Elantra model. Now, when you come to a stop, you will notice that you do not have auto start stop, but even despite that, we do get really good fuel economy with this standard 2-liter model. We're sitting at 34 miles a gallon combined, which, if you're familiar, I actually previously owned a 2018 Elantra that had this exact same engine setup and everything, besides it had a 6-speed automatic transmission instead of the CVT. That CVT really does boost your fuel economy, because that's several mpg better than what my Elantra used to get. 34 is very good for a base powertrain setup in this segment, and that's not even the hybrid offering. The hybrid offering really further increases it.
Now, even on this regular non-sport model, the overall handling and balance is pretty nice. I think the chassis feels well controlled, relatively buttoned down, and the steering is fast responding.
Alrighty, and now that we're getting up to speed here, let's get to 55 miles an hour so I can do our signature sound level reading. Put it on fan speed 1.
We're at speed.
We have settled in at 60.3 right before we came to a stop at this red light. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use carconfections.com, because on our website we've actually posted all of this vehicle's rivals, so we can see how this Elantra compares to those rivals when it comes to how quiet the cabin is. And as far as how that lands on our scale, that is going to be on the upper end of the segment. The Sentra, the Mazda 3, the Volkswagen Jetta, those are all going to test a little bit quieter, but the Honda Civic is going to be louder than this still. And I do want to just go ahead and start talking about the ride quality of this Elantra, because that's an area we've always been pretty impressed with. That's going to continue for 2024. They haven't really made very many changes when it comes to the overall ride and drive experience with this model. It's pretty much the same as last year. So you're going to have very good ride quality. The seats are very comfortable. Really no complaints here, honestly. That's just all I can say about that. Now it's time to do one of our other signature elements, our airball and slam dunk. Drew, kick us off with the slam dunk.
Well, the slam dunk is going to be the 2024 enhancements. We always like it when a brand listens to customer feedback and changes things that people actually want changed. And I think that's what Hyundai has done. What they did, especially with the exterior design, I think makes this a more appealing and slightly less controversial overall look. And then the other general enhancements, everything is just kind of in the positive direction.
Yeah, and as far as our airball is concerned, that's just going to be this specific trim level of the Elantra. I believe they've raised the convenience package price because we're sitting at over $27,000 for this SEL Convenience, and the limited trim level starts at about $26,900. So you can get a limited for a very similar price to this SEL Convenience model. So I might just go ahead and go for the fully loaded one if you're going to pay for the SEL Convenience. And the last thing to mention here is your warranty, which is going to be Hyundai's signature warranty, 5-year 60 basic, 10-year 100,000 mile powertrain. You're also going to get 3 years of complimentary maintenance. And let's talk pricing for the Elantra. Now, for this refresh model, prices are going to rise about $1,000 on all trim levels this year. So that means our SEL trim level today is going to start at $23,425. When we add the convenience package onto that, as well as a few accessories and the 1115 destination charge, we're sitting at $27,305. If you're curious about some of the other prices for the other trim levels, you can see those on the screen right now. Now, if you're a smart shopper, the next place you're going to go to is carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, on there we have a tool that will connect you with dealers in your local area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. Additionally, it's going to give you information on invoice pricing, which is a great tool for negotiating with your dealership. If you'd like to take advantage of that, please go ahead and follow the link in the video description. And guys, that's where we're going to leave off on one of the first in-depth reviews of the refreshed 2024 Hyundai Elantra. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to get access to the newest car reviews, like on this Elantra, where we go out and try and find the newest cars on the market. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. And if you haven't given us a follow on TikTok and Instagram, we would appreciate a follow there, as well as a visit to carconfections.com. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.